So I didn't prepare my phone. So coming to the stage, Tiny, you are on deck, but coming to the stage, y'all clap it up for your colleague. Give it up for Ewan. Oh, I got a tiny Christmas thing. It's not working.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Yeah, you know, I'll get home pretty late at night after doing comedy and shit, and then I'll drink and stuff. And then me and my dog, we go on these like drunken adventures around the neighborhood and shit. Yeah, next morning I wake up and be like, where'd I get this newspaper from? Whose dog is that? You know, a couple weeks ago, North Korea sent over 200 balloons over to South Korea. And they're filled with garbage and excrement. That statement's not exactly accurate, right? You know, because they weren't packed with shitty trash. No, they're filled with Dane Cook's jokes. You know, in retaliation, South Korea has set up like loudspeakers, right? And they're like blasting like anti-communist propaganda and like K-pop, you know? And then in retaliation to that, North Korea's whatever set up their own loudspeakers and shit. But you know, in North Korea, they don't have like groups like BTS or anything like that, right? So they just like play the most annoying sounds they can think of. Yeah, you guessed it. It's a Matt Rives comedy special. And you know, there's a new disorder going around called Usher syndrome. Yeah, it makes you go blind and deaf. It's pretty serious, you know? I always thought when you got Usher syndrome, it just made you go, yeah. I was eating pizza the other day, but eating pizza by yourself is kind of depressing, right? Yeah, it's like eating cake or getting drunk by yourself. Basically my last birthday. Yeah, one of my Jewish friends, Jenna the Jewish princess, we call her. You know, she's a staunch supporter of Netanyahu, the IDF, all that, you know. And I get what Jenna's saying, you know, when she's making a point and stuff. But then when I hear the Palestinians say, you know, I become torn, right? Like, which side should I be on? You know, should I take the side of the Palestinians? Or should I choose genocide? And you know, the rapper Macklemore came out a couple weeks ago with a pro-Palestine song called Hind's Haw. You know, most people who aren't paying attention to the war, they don't know anything about Hind Rajab or whatever. You know, I'm Generation X, right? So I know all about Hind's story. What I don't know as a Generation Xer is, who the fuck is Macklemore? Yeah, you know, I was at the UCLA encampment a couple weeks back. And I got there before everything got all crazy and shit. Like when I was there, it was the first day when the anti-protesters showed up, right? And they're like all waving Israel flags and stuff. And I wanted to see what they looked like, right? So I like looked over the barricade. And right when I did that, they all did the same thing, you know? They're all like, what the fuck? This guy's Asian. And they all just melted away from me and shit. You know, I'm like Zionist kryptonite. You know, as a Korean person, you know, there's never been, whatever, Koreans have zero history in the Middle East, right? So all of a sudden I have to choose, you know, choose a side and shit. You know, should I choose Palestine or Israel, right? I'll choose Palestine in this case, right? Because there's no excuse for genocide, you know? You can't just be going around killing women and killing children and shit, right? Even if they're the enemy, you know? But other than that, though, you know, I've never heard Palestinians say a racist Asian joke. Never. On the other hand, yeah, you know, I've done like maybe over 300 open mics. And I noticed that whenever you hear comedians say racist Asian joke, they're like 9 times out of 10, that comedian is Jewish, you know? And I know they're Jewish because they'll tell you, yeah, they're worse than vegans. You know, they're like, my mom is Jewish, so you know what that means. Asian people can't drive. Oh, yeah, we can make fun of them all we want. Nothing bad will ever happen to us. Wait, why is that Asian guy holding a Palestinian flag? Yeah, when I was there, when I like looked at them, you know, I noticed right away there was like 0 Asian people, you know, 0 African people, and 0 Hispanic people. Yeah, it was like a Jewish Trump rally. Yeah, you know, like, right, the biggest thing is the kids, right? I don't know about, you know, the politics or anything, but you just can't kill kids, you know? Like, it's truly a sin, right? You know, Jesus loves the children, all the children of the world, right? And so even my drill sergeant, you know, he told us a story. He was like, okay, you know, because he was a tank driver in the first Iraq War. He was a young, whatever, when he was young. And then after they liberate this village, they start handing out bottles of water, right, to these kids, right? The enemy children, right? Anyway, this old Iraqi guy comes around and he starts collecting the bottles from all the kids, right? I guess to sell or something. And this little girl doesn't want to give her bottle to him, right? So he runs over to him and snatches it from her, right? And he starts hitting her with his shoe. Now, tank crew, they all have pistols, right? And so he jumps out of his tank and he fucking cocks his gun. He like starts walking over the guy, right? He doesn't shoot right away because there's kids around and he don't want to hit them. So he's like walking over the guy, right? And the guy's like, ah, fuck. And then his commander runs over and tackles him and shit. And he's like, you know, if my commander didn't tackle me, I'd unload that fucking clip right in his fucking face. And he turns to us and he's like, you guys get the message? And we're like, yes, drill sergeant, you know? And yeah, message loud and clear, you know, you can't, whatever. As, you know, soldiers of the United States Army, like, we will defend all children, you know, even the children of the enemy, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Ugh, I forgot the punchline to that, but anyway. I'll tell you guys a story, Army story. You know, people in the Army, they acquire nicknames, right? Like this one dude, he had this big head, so everyone called him Scully. I had a nickname for a little bit, and basically at the end of base training was Kenobi. Right? Like one day we're all camped out at this bivouac area, and we're getting ready to pack up and march back to the base, right? Now, none of us are looking forward to this, right? Because forced march is like one of the hardest things you can do. It's like where they load you with like 80 pounds of stuff, and then you gotta march back. It's really fucking hard, you know? Mm-hmm. Like the first time we did it was like just 4 miles, which sucked. And then the second time was 8 miles, right? And then that like still haunts my dreams and shit. This one was 16 miles, right? So we're all like, fuck, you know? Wow. Anyway, we're marching, I'm with my platoon, we're marching back to this rendezvous point. And then there's this truck on the side of the road, right? This sergeant steps out from behind the truck and is like, hey, I need help loading this truck, right? And my brain goes, bing, you know? If he needs help loading the truck, then he's gonna need help unloading the truck. So I was like, I'll do it, right? And I run out of formation, I just run there, and I just start loading it up, right? Now my whole platoon's looking at me like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, right? He just loves to work or something? Like, what a fucking idiot, right? And so they march off to the rendezvous point, they meet up the other platoons, and the whole company marches off, right? And so me and like these 5 other guys were loading up this truck. It takes us about 45 minutes, right? And we're done, and we get in the back of the truck, and we drive off, right? After just 10 minutes, you know, we catch up to the column and shit. And we're like, hey, you know, everyone did the same thing, right? They're like marching. And they look up, and they're like, oh, you know, the next guy, then the next guy like looks up, you know, and we're just like, bye, you know? And we get to the base, you know, we unload the truck, it takes like 45 minutes, right? And we got all this time, we like eat chow, we take showers, we're like playing chess, you know, we're like riding with us home, and we're like playing chess, you know, and then fucking, we find these office chairs, you know, so at first we're like racing each other, right? But then we find these brooms, you know, so we start jousting each other, you know, we're just a bunch of young dudes, right, fucking around. And finally someone's like, hey, they're going back, right? So we all go to look, and we're like, what the fuck? You know, when last time we saw them, they're all like marching together in a group. Now they're just straggling in like one at a time and shit. Wow. Yeah, it's like every man for himself and shit. And they're like fucking like zombies, like, And finally, like the whole mass of them show up, and they look like a zombie horde, you know? They're like, they even sound like something, like, Some of them are like dragging shit and fuck. You know, so I run downstairs, and I find my buddy, I'm like, hey man, what took you so long, right? And he's just looking at me, you know? And I could tell he's fucking pissed off, but he's so tired he couldn't do anything. And all I could do is he just was like, you knew. So you knew. How did you know? And the guy next to him was like, oh, that's motherfucking E1 Kenobi. So that's where Kenobi came from. It's a lot shorter and better than my old nickname, which was that Chinese looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day I saw these real life cowboys. Like, if you've ever seen real life cowboys, they're pretty impressive, you know. One day I was driving through Nebraska, and I just wanted to get off the, you know, to look around a little bit, right? So I got off the freeway. And right when I did that, I was like, oh shit, this was a bad idea. Because there was like 50 fucking cows in front of me, you know? They're just a big wall of cows, right? So I stopped my car, I'm like, what the fuck, you know? What should I do now, right? I'm like, should I back up or something? And then right then the cows started partying, right? And then I could see why. It's because these two guys were riding up in horses, right? Cowboys, right? And they're like, yeah, 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 yeah. And they're, you know, because of that, they're partying. You know, they're doing that for me, right? So I drive past them, you know, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, man, these guys are fucking awesome. You know, they're both like 6'4", 240 pounds, you know, shit. One was like maybe 35, the other was like 25. You know, they both have cowboy hats and like jean jackets and jeans. And they both have pistols and shit. And I was looking at them like, man, these fucking, you know, because I was in the army, right? So I've seen some tough motherfuckers. But these motherfuckers like tough as nails and shit. I was like, fuck, fucking impressive, you know? And then I jerked off and went on my way.
Nice.
Yeah, I went on You know, my family, they own a carpet cleaning company in LA for many years, you know. And so when I got out of the Army, I worked for them, right? Now, we had a lot of work in West Hollywood. Because, you know, a lot of other carpet cleaning companies, they didn't want to go out to West Hollywood, right? They're homophobic and shit. But us, we're like an immigrant company, you know, so whatever. Money is money, you know, so whatever. Anyway, so I'm in West Hollywood. I go into this guy's house. And the way we clean carpet is we go to the very end of the house first, and then we kind of work our way backward. That way we're not stepping on stuff that we already cleaned. So I'm following this guy, you know, down this long hallway, loaded with these little framed pictures. And then I go into this room, and there's nothing in the room except a bed. And I look on the wall, and there's like this giant poster of like this naked dude, right? He's all sitting like this, like, right? And then on the other wall, there's another poster with two naked dudes. And one of them's holding the other's dick, you know? And they both got that look on their face, like, right? And so I'm just like, okay, whatever, nothing to see here, you know, don't ask, don't tell, right? I'm just cleaning. And I hit something under the bed, right? And it starts making noise. I'm like, what the fuck is that, right? And I look, you know, I saw what I could only describe as a blinking, beeping, twisting, transformer dildo snake. You know, it's all like, blue, blue, blue. I was like, what the fuck? You know, I didn't know how to turn off and shit. You know, it's all greasy and shit. I was like, ah! Finally, I turned off, I threw it into the bed and shit. And I'm just trying to get out of there by this point. I'm like, shh, whatever, you know? And I'm in the hallway, and I look, and those little framed pictures on this hall were of other carpet cleaners with their dicks hanging out. I was like, oh no! And then I hear this, and I turn around, and it's the guy, you know? And he's got a camera in one hand and a $100 bill in the other. You know, I'm not gay or anything, but money's money, so. Alright, yeah, you know, it was past Cinco de Mayo. It was cool, you know. Me, I got super drunk. And I was like, oh, it's Cinco de Mayo today? You know, taking a piss when you have a hard on, it's fucking really difficult, right? Like, if you're outside, it doesn't matter, but if you're inside, you know, aiming at a target as small as a toilet, it's like playing skee ball with your dick. Yeah, my dog, she's cute, you know. She's so cute when other dogs see her, they go, oh my gosh, the dog is so cute. And then they go, oh my gosh, I can talk. Yeah, I was driving around the other day, I got pulled over by this horse cop. That's crazy, you know, I didn't even know it was behind me. And I hear this, woo, woo. It wasn't a siren making that sound either, it was a horse. Yeah, one of my buddies, he's a Muslim. He doesn't eat pork, right? But he's always trying to pork shame me and shit. It's like, oh, gross, you eat bacon and sausage? I'm like, man, I'm Korean, right? We eat dog, right? Yeah, you know, it's weird how language changes over time, right? Like nowadays, if a guy told me he was gonna blow my brains out, I want to be sure whether to run away or pull my pants down.
I'm sure it's bad.
Yeah. You know, scientists for the first time reported 2 male humpback whales having sex. Yeah, Hollywood's already going to make a movie about it. Yeah, they're going to call it Humpback Mountain. You know, NFL has one Asian player, and he's a kicker. Could you not find a more racist position for this guy? And is he going to go out barefoot in a karate uniform? And I was watching this Bigfoot show the other day. And it struck me as how devoted these Bigfoot hunters were. And they're so dedicated to something that might not even be real. Like comedians in their careers. Yeah, I was watching the Oscars this past season. You know, towards the end I was getting excited. I was like, hey look, they're bringing back the Mummy. But then I saw it again, I was like, oh no, that's just Al Pacino. Yeah, I had a real bad haircut a couple months ago. You ever have a haircut so bad that people start treating you differently? And they're like, this guy must have a learning disability or something. You know your shit's fucked up when the waitress at Denny's tying a bib around your neck.
Damn.
Yeah, O.J. Simpson died a couple months back. It's pretty crazy, you know. What was even crazier was how he crashed the internet. Yeah, basically the second he died, half of America got online and was like, who the fuck is O.J. Simpson? Yeah, this past April 4th is a new national holiday. It's now National Burrito Day. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? And the very next day, April 5th, is now National Toilet Clogging Day. Yeah, I was in the Army, you know. Like, 1st Cavalry Division, whatever. It was pretty cool, you know. It was weird being the only Asian person, though. Yeah, every day people were just looking at me like, are we supposed to shoot this guy?
Yeah.
All right, what's this last joke? You know, comedians will always tell you two things, right? They'll always tell you when they just get booked on a show, and they'll always tell you when they just had sex. That's a bit juvenile, right?
Yeah.
Like myself, I haven't been booked on a show in over a month. But I did get laid last week, so hoo-ah! Hi, my name's Iwan, I'm out of here, thank you.
Clap it up for Iwan. Iwan, I'd like to apologize for all the racist jokes, but I'm tired of apologizing for Whitey. Let Whitey come and apologize. Shit. Let me see. I had to tell Michelle I was over there